All right, check, 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? I hope you guys can hear me. Yeah, can you? I don't know. I hope so. But, fuck, not. Okay. Take 2. I kind of thought that would happen. Just the damn tripod fell over. I was like, fuck, I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope it can stay stable. No, of course not. Fucking stupid ass me. That's so funny. Make sure this is all even. Yeah, okay. So what we did is we threw the duffel bag in front of it. So hopefully that'll keep her steady for me. But just got done with our upper body lift, or not upper body, but it was chest, shoulders, and triceps. And it was good lift today. I haven't done a post-workout gym vlog in a while. I've been so busy. As a trainer, guys, the New Year's is incredibly busy times. But I also got hit last month with helping this union that I volunteer at. They needed help during the Christmas time, and during busiest time of the year is getting new clients, doing consultations, all this stuff as well. So it has been a busy December and January for me, but we're done with the union work, so things are slowing down for sure. We're back pretty much just on training and back on our grind, trying to get this dang pro card. So yeah, let me just go ahead and slide this over a little bit. I think that's what's causing it to. It's uneven. Unfortunately, I'm just using my phone here, guys, so. All right, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it stays. If you're a little crooked, guys, then I'm sorry, but I'm doing my best. But yeah, good solid lift. Like I said, chasing the pro card this year. Probably looking at going to the Ben Weider Natural Pro in Alexandria, Virginia, which is basically Washington, D.C., if you didn't know. So, I think that'll be fun. Don't know exactly yet, just because it's in November. That's going to be right after the midterms, I'm pretty sure. And it doesn't matter what side you're on, but just worried about how things will be looking in D.C. around that time, depending on either way that it could go. Like, just either way there could be protests, like, going on and stuff, And, I don't want to be involved in all that. I'd be like Forrest Gump out there, like, just trying to take pictures, like, of the D.C. monuments, all this stuff, and there's freaking protests. I'd be like, what? How'd I end up here? And then I'm freaking giving a speech about, something. Who knows what? But we don't probably want to do that, so we'd probably lay low, bring 2 shirts, play the winning side. No, not really. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, don't know how the state of the country is going to be looking around then. So, might want to be careful. But so we might go to a different show just in case things are super crazy here in the States. But hopefully we can get our natural pro card with the IFBB there. If you guys didn't know, yes, the IFBB does. They don't give away natural pro cards. It's just an IFBB pro card. So they only started doing it the last couple of years, doing natural shows through NPC and IFBB awarding them. And it's technically through, I think, IFBB worldwide, So that's technically what, like, you have to go through that or something. I don't know exactly. But yeah, so if we can get our IFBB pro card, then after that, we just would have to compete in regular pro competitions in the IFBB. And then you're up against, it doesn't matter if they're untested at that point, So who knows where we'll go from there, but, all natural right now, of course. Not going to say I'm never going to hop on gear. I'm not one of those guys because it's, truthfully, come on, let's be honest. We have all thought about it. How good our physique could look if we did hop on, if we have the right genetics, if we cycle properly and don't abuse it. We could, I could look crazy, I think. I think I've got really good genetics for it. But truthfully, I've got pretty bad luck. I've already got epilepsy. I don't think I need any other problems. So that's a big reason I stay away from gear and everything right now, is because I was only diagnosed with epilepsy right before COVID. So I don't want to be taking any big risks with my health right now and everything. It's only been a few years since then. I guess it's been almost 6 years, but still, better safe than buzzing on the ground, I always say. But yeah, good bulk today, good lift today. Like I said, we did chest, shoulders, triceps. I was going to do some abs, but I had a rough night of sleep. Don't know why exactly. It took me like freaking almost 2 hours to fall asleep just laying in bed. I think it was my cat kept waking me up, I think is what it was. She was bugging last night. Super sweet. She wanted to I washed my hair last night, and she wanted to lay on my head, and she hardly ever does that. So I was letting her, and so she was laying on the side of my head with her head nuzzled all in my hair and everything. She was loving it. So super cute. She never does that, so I let her. And but I think that's what made it kind of hard for me to sleep, was not used to that. A feeling of a purring cat right in my ear while I'm trying to sleep, So, but she's a cutie, my Sandra. She's a sweet girl. But yeah, I had a rough night of sleep, and so yeah, it took me a couple hours to fall asleep, and then I also woke up a couple times, and it feels like I slept wrong because my lower back is killing me this morning. It feels like I threw it out or something. So that actually kept me from doing abdominals today, because honestly, it's kind of a little hard to stand up straight right now. I was able to hit everything else pretty fine, but as soon as I would stand up from the set, it was I'm literally standing like a question mark. My back is curving, my posture is like an S or something. So yeah, I don't know if it's my lower back or if it's my upper back, and it's my scoliosis throwing things out a little bit, and yeah, because I slept wrong last night. But either way, spinal flexation was not happening today. So that's one of those things where you got to take things as they come and make adjustments to the plan, So hopefully we'll get good night rest tonight. I'm going to foam roll my glutes, my upper back, maybe do a little bit of yoga tonight after I train my clients. And yeah, hopefully we'll be feeling good there tomorrow, and we can hit some abs with our back day tomorrow. But overall, the bulk is going pretty good, guys. I'm currently weighing about 167, so we're only about 10 pounds up post-show. And the show was October 26th, 25th or 26th. I can't remember because it got moved one of those days. I think it was the 26th. I think either the original date was the 24th and it got moved to the 25th, or it was the 25th and it got moved to the 26th. I can't remember. But yeah, it was in October, so November, December, and now we're in mid-January, just about 10 days off of that. So yeah, good, what's that? 8.66 plus another 3, so about 11 and a half weeks post show. We're up about 10 pounds. I'd say pretty good, honestly, especially for our first show. I feel like I'm putting on mass, muscle, a lot of muscle, especially in my chest and my back, which are the two areas I'm pounding the hardest right now, hitting with higher volume. I tend to go low volume when I'm cutting, which is if I'm being honest, when you're cutting for a show and you're natural, you're usually going to be cutting for 4 to 6 months out of the year, which is a lot of the time. And then you've got some maintenance in between bulking, cutting, and shows and whatnot. So there's not a lot of time to bulk, if you're trying to compete as a natural, because the cutting process takes so long, right? Now, there's probably some people who try to stay leaner and bulk super leanly, and then be able to be stage ready in 6 to 12 weeks, right? But those I truthfully just don't got the genetics for that, man. I used to be a big boy, my biggest I weighed was between 235 and 240 pounds, and I'm not very tall. So, I mean, not very tall to most men, like, but yeah, it would not be ideal for me to stay super lean and try to bulk. Basically what I'm saying is, like, I'm okay with gaining a little bit of fluff, you know, during my bulks, so that I can actually maximize my muscle building capacity, right? So, and it feels like that's paying off right now, especially after my first show. It feels like I'm just packing on mass, especially in that chest and back. I'm hitting not crazy volumes, only between about 15 to 18 sets per muscle group, you know? So chest and back, like today I did 3 sets of the incline press, 3 sets of chest flies, and then 2 sets of like a decline fly press, basically. So that only comes out to 8 sets. And I did something pretty similar on Monday, you know? So combining those 2 days, I believe I'm up to 17 sets, because I think on Monday I did 1 extra set of the decline push downs. I did a 3rd set instead of just 2. So yeah, you don't need to have crazy high volume, but really what I want to focus on is actually maximizing using the muscle and exhausting the muscle itself. I'm not so concerned necessarily about the exact number of weight I push. Yeah, of course I try to get stronger and, you know, try to add more weight to like all my lifts and whatnot, but I'm not going to add weight at the cost of possibly decreasing my lifting technique. And by lifting technique, I mean the actual ability to push the weight, not even push, really to pull the muscle. Because remember, that's all that muscles can do. No muscle can push anything. All muscles can do is really pull and contract on themselves. Like they're all pulling something in some way. When you're doing a chest press, your elbows are being pulled forward through the contraction of your chest, bringing it to your midframe, right? So really, that's what I'm trying to think about, is like when I'm doing my decline chest press or a fly, you know, like chest fly press, whatever you want to call it, like I'm here and I'm not thinking about pushing my wrist down. What I'm thinking about is squeezing my chest to pull my elbows across each other. And then that's where I want the tension, really, you know, so I'm not using my triceps and my shoulders or momentum, really. And then the same thing when coming back is to make sure that I'm resisting with the chest, still like having tension and a flexation there. So, you know, really that's the number one goal when it comes to trying to build muscle, is sending that stimulus that the actual muscle itself that you're trying to target is working hard, and that it's being put through tons of pressure and mechanical tension. So it doesn't really matter what exercises you do, as long as the exercises allow you to actually work and feel it in that target muscle, you know? That's why it's like, whether or not it's the bench press, or if it's the chest press machine, or if it's chest flies, like pick just 2, maybe 3 exercises that work for you, that allow you to actually feel it and use just your chest to like move the weight. And I feel like that's where a lot of people mess up, is they're just moving weight and not actually working the muscle. So that's a big thing that I always focus on when it comes to my lift. So yeah, big recommendation there, making sure that you guys are working the muscle and not just moving the weight, you know? Oh man, that's good. Nice brown shaken espresso from Starbucks. Supposedly it's only about 180 calories. It's pretty good, honestly. I don't usually finish the whole thing. I usually get like, honestly, about halfway. And then usually it melts and it's kind of gross by the time I'm, you know, done with it. So yeah, you know, really having about 100 calories there, not too bad. Whoa! First turn we made, gotta remember those. It's pretty much a straight shot home, but we've got literally like 2 turns to make, so try to remember that. This next turn coming up here in about a half mile. yeah, so, I'm able to fit this in my diet right now because when I'm bulking, if I'm being honest, guys, bulking is not my favorite part of the process because as a natural, you don't build as much muscle as like guys on gear, so you don't see crazy changes. Like I feel like I'm honestly actually seeing some crazy changes right now in my chest and back, but a lot of that is probably just a little bit of reclaimed muscle from the cut. But I don't really feel like I lost muscle during my cut. So yeah, maybe I'm just a freak, man. Dude, like just build different. I'm just kidding. But I think it's honestly because low-key, I feel like I'm having like newbie gains still this last like couple of years because I feel like for a long time, for like a good 5-6 years after I stopped like training for football and I lost all the weight and I like became a trainer, I really started training like just for maintenance. Like I was just trying to keep the weight I lost off, And that was like most of my training. I didn't have really any aspirations for bodybuilding until really just a couple of years ago. I got into it. So I feel like that's a big reason why I feel like I see a lot of gains too, is because I wasn't training hard and wasn't pushing myself to grow, wasn't dieting to grow, the whole 9 yards. So when you really dial things in and actually learn how to train hard and actually start working the muscle instead of just moving weight and trying to burn calories and keep your activity up. Okay, we survived that turn. That's when I feel like you'll really start to like see gains, is when you start training with a purpose and not just for maintenance. Like people say they want to like maintain, but then get frustrated at their goals and then go on a diet for 2 weeks because they're feeling fat or something. People are so flip-floppy. Like you got to make decisions when it comes to your goals, and body dysmorphia is a hell of a thing. So I work with a lot of people, and these are just common things that like I see is like people just very flip-floppy in terms of how they feel about their physiques, and they'll change their diet, everything, like every few weeks, just based off of like how they feel one day, So you can't be doing that. You gotta know that there are processes to getting the way that you actually want to look, and not only that, but people got to be honest with themselves about how you really want to look. I felt like for a long time, like I didn't really want to be a bodybuilder or look like a bodybuilder until it just like kind of like hit me one day that like, yeah, like that's what I want to do and be, like I always worked out to like be like them, in the sense of discipline, X, Y, and Z, like the whole 9 yards, but I didn't have like that actual, like want to do this. Like I want to build the best body that I can, and that's the thing too, is you got to look at it like this is something that you're trying to do, is you're trying to build basically a living sculpture, a sculpture that basically every day you come in and you work on for an hour, and then as you go home and throughout your day, everything that you are doing affects that sculpture that you come back to the next day, like it's like a little magic trick almost. Like you're at home and you made X, Y, and Z, right, for breakfast and dinner. You made pancakes with a full fat syrup, or full sugar syrup, full butter, regular butter, like bacon. You had like a 1,500 calorie breakfast, a 1,200 calorie lunch, and a 1,500 calorie dinner, and you're 1,200 calories over your surplus, right? Then you come home the next day, or you come to the sculpture the next day, and you notice that there's all this extra clay like around the midsection of the sculpture for some reason, and you can't take it off. You got to slowly wait for it to come off after now being in a deficit for a little bit. And like that's kind of how you got to like look at your physique, is like you are trying to build this sculpture that everything that you're doing outside is going to affect how it comes and shows and appears the next day, and then when you go to the gym, you got to look at it like that's the actual time that you're there crafting and molding the pieces of the sculpture that you want to see changes in, And when you look at it like it's this own little art project, like long-term art project that you're working on, it just gives you this different sense of like, oh, I get to do this because this is a it's a hobby. This is like, and that's something too that you guys need to realize, is this is a hobby. And like most hobbies, it doesn't require 6-7 days a week, every single day, 4 hours a day for you to be good at something. You can go in 3-4 times a week, do it for an hour, and be pretty dang good, be better than most people. If you were trying to learn how to paint, and if you start painting every day or not every day, if you start painting 4 days a week for an hour, I guarantee you, after the end of 2 years, you're going to be a much better painter than most people, you know? You're going to be able to make your own kind of like illustrations, your own sketches. Like, I don't know much about painting. You know, I know these are probably long terms, but like, you'll be able to start the beginning process, the end. You'll know all the phases. Like, you'll learn a lot. So you got to look at it like that. Like, and as you're doing this too, you're trying to learn more. You know, like, you're trying to get better, always trying to improve, training with a purpose. You can always improve at your weightlifting technique, at your mind-muscle connection, how much you're pushing yourself. So, you know, don't take this for granted, guys. This is a privilege that we get to bodybuild. It's a privilege that we get to go to the gym. We get to pick and choose what we get to spend our money on. And we get to eat, you know, tons of protein, all right? Protein's expensive. There are tons of people who can't afford to eat like this, you know? So if you are on this journey and you are trying to do this and you can live this life, be grateful and be happy that you can, and be ready for the journey, because it's a journey, you know, but be grateful for that journey. So that's all I really have to say, guys. You know, like, be grateful. There's a lot of people who feel like they have to do this, they have to look a certain way. That's just not the truth, man. Like, it's just not. You don't have to look a certain way to get girls. You don't have to look a certain way to get jobs. Like, you might want to look healthy, like, and that might help you, you know, but you don't need to look like a bodybuilder to live a good life, you know. So be grateful. If you're doing this, you're in a privileged position. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.